The art of screen printing.
Hey everybody, we're still working on our superhero logo for GSG here. This is the art of screen printing. I'm Lon Winters and this is Corey Gray with Graphic Elephants. Let's get us started on those wedges.
So much like in all the illustrators our illustrator images that we brought over, this is our wedges, the icon for GSG, these three simple wedges. Here they are in their base elements. Of course, I have the big thick outline around them because of how we're going to knock out from the mesh and the rings. But let's talk about how we made the chrome inside these sort of diamondy shapes, like kind of like gemstones. This top blue line, this inset line, is sort of like how the top of the gem would be, and then on the edges here, we like sort of like facets. So much so that I went and actually created some break lines so that you can see it. Now it looks more like how a gemstone would actually appear if you were looking at one. When I made these, I wanted to break up these shapes a little bit because when we're doing layer effects, the more interesting the shape and the more notches or interest to the actual shape, the difference the chrome will have. If you were just using a square or a circle, you might not see some of those. So I'm going to actually make a selection of the break lines, and I'm going to knock it right out of the purple. So now we have more of a look that looks, now they look like this. So when we go ahead and we apply our bevel and emboss, and this is exactly how we did the rings, you're going to see now that it's kind of following that contour. It's actually bending some of those lines around as it moves around. Now the darkness down here is something we're going to come back and talk about. But let's go into our bevel and emboss here real quick. And again, like all the other ones that we've done, this is a matter of you playing with the levers to the point where you like it. Now, the gloss contour, how we use this on the rings, same thing here. This very spiky graph really helps you get some of these wild tones for and you don't have to do the work yourself. It's doing it all for you. And then of course your opacities matter. So if you change any of this, of course it's gonna really change the depth and look of your gemstones. In this case, they're gemstones. Whatever you're working on may change as well. Of course, your angle matters. All these things together create this really wonderful set of variety in this. And of course, I've made my size pretty large. If I take my size down pretty far, you can see how different that is when playing with these levers. So you can get a lot of variables out of these things. So be mindful of that when you're playing around with them. And also your depth here as well. So your size versus your depth, and you can see how it really changes how the color moves around. So again, it's anybody's option, whatever you want to do. We're going to say okay with this, and then basically the inset blue line. If I put it on, you can see, and if I zoom up here, it doesn't matter where these lines end. This blue is going to intercede that, so we're going to be okay with that. What I didn't care for originally was that notice how the chrome is not giving you much here in the darker areas. So when I have the wedge, the inline on, there's so much variety in where the light shadow or the highlights hitting here, but there's nothing going on down here. I actually ended up coming back in and making a separate wedge for this, and you can kind of see it right here. And how I did that was I took the pieces from the original that you see here, and I just cut them so that I had these pieces, because this is where basically the shadow of the gem would be. And just like our original one with the highlights, now I went and did the same thing, only I reduced my contour to something much easier and softer, because we don't need a lot of variation now. We just need something that kind of matches everybody else. And then I use these very dark colors to give us those variations. So if you turn them both on together, you can see now that I have a lot more going on with the complete look of the gemstone, light and shadow. That's how we did that.
Cool. He's Corey, I'm Lon. We are Graphic Elephants. This is the art of screen printing. Tune in next time where we'll keep working on these wedges and try to get them finished up. See you soon.